Liquid Lunch Live is brought to you by Question Tequila.
Hey, welcome back. We're coming to you live as always. Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco from the Question Tequila Studios in the financial district of New York. The Dow Jones Industrial Average continues to hold its gains, still above 26,000. Bitcoin above 9,000, 9,300. It's all the rage right now. The volatility's in it. And the Chicago Mercantile Exchange stopped trading futures against Bitcoins, which was allowing some smart institutional investors to short sell it, which was putting pressure on it to the upside. Those products no longer exist, so Bitcoin may have some far field to go from here. And over 10, we'll talk more about that. 2 10s on the set with me today. Frank Morano rejoins us today, and E. O'Brien Murray, veteran Republican strategist, is back with us. Thanks for hanging around with us.
Love to do it.
So, Frankie, you're really hitting hard on this topic.
Well, I'll tell you, I was really captivated by the discussion that you guys were having over this New York Times article having to do with our cyber attacks on Russia. And I'll tell you what I found to be the most interesting aspect of it, and Obi alluded to this to some extent, is if you take a look at this this portion that's on your screen right now. So 2 administration officials, said they believed Mr. Trump had not been briefed in any detail about the steps to place these software codes that can be used for surveillance or attack. Now, Pentagon and intelligence officials, plural, described broad hesitation to go into detail with Mr. Trump about operations against Russia for concern over his reaction. So I want you people watching this or reading that to understand what's going on here. Is we have senior, if this is true, which again, the president called the article treasonous, so perhaps aspects of it aren't entirely accurate, but let's assume this is true. Let's give the formerly failing New York Times the benefit of the doubt. You have people in your government, not elected by anybody, that are choosing on their own what information they want to give about cyber attacks to the country that has the largest stockpile of nuclear weapons other than us in the world. They're choosing who the elected commander-in-chief should be able to hear from on this. Obi, I'm just curious. I can't believe there's not more outrage about this. This is the definition of a deep state.
This goes back to the press sometimes, or people want to talk to the president, going on Fox or talking messages through Fox. This is a different place to do it, the New York Times. So the intelligence community decided, let's go to the New York Times, let's tell them what's going on, and that's how we'll let the president know.
Right. It's okay for the public to know, but not the president? I mean, this is...
Well, he doesn't read the New York Times, though. So.
He reads everything. But what is interesting...
He doesn't watch Joe and Mika, but he talks about them all the time.
So
the guy's crazy.
The story that's been making all the news the last 3 days has been this 30-hour interview that George Stephanopoulos did with Donald Trump. Here's a little bit of it, speaking of credibility, truth, and even Russia. This was aired in its entirety yesterday.
I like the truth. I'm actually a very honest guy. If I thought they were correct, I wouldn't be complaining at all. I understand that. It's like the witch hunt that goes on. No collusion with Russia. There was no collusion. And what bothers me...
As you know, that's not what Robert Mueller found.
It said no collusion.
I love the guy. You don't even have to write stuff. He's just a one-man show. What are your thoughts? He submits to this stuff. Barack Obama didn't go on Fox News one time. Trump submits to this stuff to try to show that he is transparent, and then they kill him.
It's interesting, though. I wondered the same thing, and Frank and I have talked about politics for years in New York and doing different things and across the country. Why did he have George Stephanopoulos, all people do it? Not just ABC, George Stephanopoulos, who worked for Clinton. And I think part of this is masterful if you think about it.
100%.
If he got a good shake at it, it would be terrific. And if he gets the shake he's getting right now, it's Clinton's guy. Whatever. I let everybody talk to me.
That's
Look, here's an example of what's going on. The Democrats are doing a great job on Fox, going on the town halls they're doing, but they won't do a debate there. Right. Explain that one.
Yeah. If you ask me, everybody says, we're going to go for the emoluments clause. We're going to go, he's not psychologically capable of being president. If you ask me as a business guy, and there are times when people believe that Trump was a billionaire, which he actually is, everybody wanted to emulate this guy, right? He had it all. He was the big time guy. he is playing them like a fiddle. Like you say, this plays right into his hands. Go ahead. Yeah, I went and talked to George. You know that's Hillary's person. Of course, he can't lose.
There was
doing
a clip they showed on ABC. They showed it so many different times across the way, days where he was working a rope line. He goes, "Yeah, George is in the car. He's got him locked in the car, and he's pointing to George, and George is like this in the back. And the crowd's like, wailing on George.
They crack the window.
He's captive. They crack the window.
They crack the window.
They throw him a
He's
treat.
able to breathe. Exactly.
I try to do these parodies of other networks, and I usually do a segment called Morning Joke, right? Because there's one thing that they start the day with, and then that's the joke of the day, if you ask me. And this morning they had Trump and Stephanopoulos in the back of the presidential limo, and they were like crunched in there. And Joe said, "Look at him, he's leaning in on him. He's trying to threaten George." It was just the president and George in the car. And it's going to be just me and Frankie. E. O'Brien Murray, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coming back to you with the last call right after this.